Rocket Pat here. Hi guys, it's another hot rockin' 4th of July in Houston, Texas. And happy birthday, America. All right guys, well let's see what we're gonna be doing today. Well, not really today. It's what I've been doing. Probably gonna be not doing a whole lot today because it's 4th of July. And as you can see, we got the barbecue pit already out. All right guys, well I have been up early this morning barbecuing me some barbecue for this 4th of July. And let's see what we got going on inside there. I haven't looked at this in about an hour. Oh yeah, that looks good. Damn, hell yeah. I got me some American grown chicken. Got them all grilled on up. And we got some shot right here in Texas venison sausage. I got a couple of customers that love to keep me full of sausage and everything. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but yeah, it looks good and tastes good. All right. So let's see what I've been doing. Okay, so let's go over some things about the cars I got around here. This car got the air conditioning working great, got the windows going up and down and everything. No real major problems with this car other than it doesn't have a stereo in it. But done went there and bought all the stuff I need to put a stereo up in this thing, and that's coming up. This one, y'all see this truck in my videos all the time, and it usually is parked over here where I got Roscoe parked right now. And it never moves around. I have had this truck tagged for the past 5 or so years, and I never drive it. Never drive it at all. So I decided this weekend was going to be the weekend that would fix some problems with it. Biggest problem with this truck is how it drives. I put a lowering kit on this truck, springs in the rear, new shocks in the rear, lowering spindles, 2-inch drop spindles, and drop springs. Well, when I did all of this, the problem became that the alignment was just jacked. When the control arm that was sitting like this is now this way, in that arc, now it's done pushed the top of the tire outward and just screwing everything up. I had everything out of this thing, including these shim, like, we're not going to call them shims. They're like little deals that adapt around and allows it to tilt and do all this stuff. I'll show you some other time. But I took all that out and I still can't get a good alignment on this truck. Over the weekend, I did add a 1/4 inch of shim to the front of the A-arm to give myself a little bit more caster, and that's helped it a lot. But now I've pushed my tire back out like this again, and that's not helping stability at high speed. So I've come up with a plan to fix this. I looked and I tried to find some control arms that fixed this problem. And from what I understand, everybody's extending them for some reason. Maybe because if you lower it even more, it goes the opposite direction, and now you need to lengthen them. But in my case, what I need is I need these shorter. So I dug out some control arms. Now, I did notice earlier this morning that they're actually the same control arm, so this is not going to work the way I really wanted it to, which was modify 2 control arms and put them on the truck, keeping the ones I have. But now that I realize I have 2 of the same, that's not going to work. But what it will work is, and I can do a test with these, is I feel like if I cut this low spot out all the way across here and shorten this by the 1/2 inch that or so that is, then I can put my bucks back in here that allow this to turn. There's some, I don't know, they're probably about 1/4 of an inch or so or more thickness that go right here, and then the shims go back here and the bolts come on this side, and that's going to turn this way and move it in and out. Okay, well, I think if I cut that and shorten that a little bit, then that'll solve some of the problem there as well. Then I can start actually putting a good alignment on it. Another problem I found is that that's the track bar making all that noise. So we're going to fix that too. But I am happy to say I'm on the right track. I got it driving better than it was. Also, I got the timing set where it's not clatterboxing everywhere. And I also did another deal, and please don't hate me on this, but Yeah, I got tired of the holes in the floor, and this truck is not, it's a rabbit hole. You say, okay, well, I certainly have the skill to put a floor pan in this thing. No problem, right? We all agree with that, right? Okay? But I just patched it the same way it was already patched here, because it's a rabbit hole. If I put floors in it, I got to put rocker panels in it, inner and outers. But the biggest problem is, it's not even that right there. I can live with that. The biggest problem is this right here. And the truck needs a windshield. And that's the part that I'm going to have to fix before I fix anything, before I start going down the rabbit hole on this truck. But I would like to drive it without hot air blowing all over my feet. And, you know, on a rocking 4th of July, Texas day, out in the sun, in a pit, hot enough to keep your chicken warm. Yeah, it's a good day. All right, so that's what's going on with this one. And I've got parts coming for it, including a heater box, because I plan on driving this truck around the loop Christmas Day. Hold me to it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to watch me. Christmas Day, I want to drive this truck around the 610 loop in Houston, Texas, because that's a good day to go for a ride around the loop, 7:30 in the morning, right as the sun's coming up, because there ain't nobody out on the road. All right, so that's this one. Now let's go look at the other one that I got going on. And yeah, I'm gonna get me some barbecue. And Petey Doggy is barking and screaming for Rocker Pat's out here making all this noise. He's like, who the hell is out here? Hey, Petey Doggy, you wanna come say hello to everybody? Oh, I didn't mean to keep you out the video, buddy. That dog's 10 years old. All right, so back to it. I got Jackie running great. I got no problems with Jackie other than, well, first let's go back over here. Here's a brand new set of tunage, complete, everything we need to put tunage into the Monte Carlo out there. And there's already a box back there with 10s or 12 woofers out of another car, and there's an amp that works that'll go in there to drive the woofers. And I've got an amp install kit over there ready to go. I just got to get out here and get it done, but I got other projects first. This car, the only problem I have with Jackie right now is that the last time I took her out and I went over to listen to that band play, she didn't exactly start up when I told her to, and the starter got hot. So what I'm going to do to fix that is I've got a brand new big chunk of battery cable, and I've got a brand new smaller little bitty Chevrolet starter that will fit the engine that's in Jackie. And we're going to change this, but not only am I going to change the starter and the positive battery cable, but I'm going to also install this with a Ford starter relay. Solenoid, whatever you want to call it, on the Fords that are on the firewall. We're going to move that up there, and we're going to tie this wire and this wire together so that it gets full pop charge over there. And we're going to make sure that Jackie doesn't leave me at the bar when they piss me off because I got a bunch of damn children at my feet. All right, Cadillac time. This is not an official update on the Cadillac. I'll start a whole series on the Cadillac, but let's take a look at the Cadillac. First off, we have extracted the engine and the transmission from the donor. We've also pressure washed it, and I had some Alumabrite from Purple Power that we cleaned up some stuff. It's still going to get more cleaning up. Okay, so that's there. What I've went and done is that we've also extracted the original 4100 out of this car, and I pulled the 200 R4 transmission, which bonus because I'll be keeping that transmission. And that truck out there is probably gonna get that 700 R4 put in it, because that's gonna make that truck drive better. But Johnny right here will probably get that 200 R4. The Monte Carlo has a 200 R4 in it, and I have a spare 200 R4 up underneath the bench over there for that. So yeah, this is probably gonna get a 200 R4, and that one a 700 R4. and I'm going to get rid of the 3-speed manual that's in that truck because it needs another gear. The rear end's fine, but I'd rather just do that. All right, back to the Cataract. So got all the engines out of it, got it pressure washed under the hood. Could have been a little better, but I ain't complaining. And I went over to a buddy of mine's, and he had an empty transmission and a empty engine. Okay, so I extracted those from him, and I am in my first stage of mock-up of what's going on with this car. Seem to have a lot of light coming from the other side. So what's happening is that if we look, I don't know if we can see it. This is not going to be a great video. Let's just call this not. We're going to go over every little detail. But I've got a used engine up inside there, an empty case. It's actually aluminum, so that makes life even better. And I have an empty transmission case back here, so we can start figuring out that need to be figured out, right? Okay, so the mounts that I got right now, these are off the El Camino, and these are for that El Camino. I have these adapter plates in here, and I have them actually turned around backwards. We're going to go over that when I start actually making videos on this install. So I got my first basic, hey man, just let me take a look at everything and see where everything's falling, right? The oil pan is not the pan that is on the engine now. I bought this pan because it's lowered. It's, you know, shallower, and that's going to help me to keep everything below the or above the K member here. I did see somebody do one of these. Only one person I've seen do it, and that was Snydertron, and they left the oil pan down where it was hanging below. Man, here in Houston, that's a death deal, man. This thing will bottom out on some bump or jump or whatever, and yeah, it'll be an oil pan broke. That's all I can see here in Houston. So the challenges that I have are, this is fine. I believe I need to come back this way just a hair. I don't know if I got quite enough clearance right here. I probably do, but when I dropped, I gotta drop this engine down a little further. Back here, I'm gonna have to take an inch at least off my drive shaft, probably 2. It's a little too long. The cross member doesn't line up where I need it to line up because the 200R4 was back here. So that's a pretty easy fix there. I can't really move the cross member because I've got a hump right here that it sits in, and so that's kind of limiting how far forward I can go. But I do believe I need to bring the transmission back just a hair, and we'll deal with the drive shaft when we need to. But yeah, it's a little bit easier when I got a mock-up and, you know, and can see stuff. I only got one head on it, but I do have the intake, and I think I need to come down for the intake reasons. All right, guys, well, there is my first mock-up on this thing. If you want, I'll take you down, and we'll take a look at how it sits up top. But this is just round one. It sure is making it easier, though, that I have an empty case and an empty block. But I don't think that these engine mount combo is going to work out too well. I think we need to do different. So my problem is if you can tell, my intake's a little higher than my hood. Now the hood does come up a little bit, and this can go away, but I do believe I need to drop this engine down a little bit further and everything. I've got several options. Bought some engine mounts for my Corvette. That's the lowest option that I have. And then I've got, these are the original from the car. I need to shave these edges off so that they go into these cups. These cups are actually for Johnny. I don't know if I'm going to use those or what I'm going to do there yet, but I'm going to figure it out. And yeah, and the only other option, other hurdle that I got for this job is right there. This is Texas, and you can't be fly if you're sweating inside the car, man. It ain't happening, man. You got to get that AC up in that hole right there, which means I'm going to have to cut this part of the K member to be able to get that to go on in there. But yeah, those are the hurdles. All right, guys. Well, it is a happy 4th of July here in Houston, Texas. We got work in the shop, got work next door. Y'all hold me to it. I am definitely going to be taking that truck for a ride around the loop come Christmas Day. Monte Carlo's running good. Shop's going to be full this week. Got Leroy sitting over there. He needs to come back out, but I am getting hungry, and there is some good looking barbecue going on up in there. All right, y'all guys have yourselves a hot rocking 4th of July 2022.